My brothers and sisters, Yali Madat, thank you for joining our weekly Sunday telecast. It is my hope that all of our families are safe, healthy, and in good spirits. I also hope that on the blessed night of Laylatul Qadr, you are able to find moments of reflection privately and along with the rest of the Jamaat through the sessions curated by our Tariqa and Religious Education Board. As many of you are aware, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month, and this year's theme is Tools to Thrive. Today, let us take a moment to pause and reflect upon the ways in which mental health is an important dimension of our well-being. Let's start by addressing the misconceptions that are often associated with this aspect of our health. It's easy to think about our mental health in overly simplistic terms, such as we are either healthy or we're not. However, experts tell us that all of us are likely to go through times when we are in good mental health and in a position to handle life's stresses without being overwhelmed, and that we are likely also to go through times when we are not as healthy and do get overwhelmed. When we apply this lens to mental health, it becomes apparent that it impacts all of us and not just some of us. As we navigate the current global pandemic situation, we have a lot of causes for stress, including, for example, the change in our routines, concerns around physical distancing, and taking precautions for our health and that of our families, the increased economic anxiety, and concerns about our children being at home and not able to go to school. It is important that we learn to recognize the signs of stress in ourselves and those around us, including our children, and that we recognize that it is perfectly okay and normal to be stressed under such circumstances. Doing so will allow us to help ourselves and each other deal with this in a positive, healthy way. During this time, even routine tasks as taking care of our older parents or everyday housework can bring on additional stress, but we fail to recognize the added stressors. Recognizing this does not mean that we do not care for our loved ones or that we cannot handle our responsibilities. Rather, all of us can be more mindful when we need to take a break or we need dedicated, focused time to handle things so that we prevent ourselves from being overwhelmed. We don't have to do all of this by ourselves. One of the best ways to improve our mental health is to learn to rely on those around us, our family, friends, and loved ones. Just as we would not be shy about asking our family for extra support if a physical ailment, such as a broken arm or a headache, was bothering us, we should not be shy about asking for help if we are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, stressed, or experiencing other signs of distress. At the same time, we should strive to be more tuned into the emotional states of those around us and to offer to help where we can. Often, it's as easy as a conversation that starts with something like, "You seem to have a lot going on. Is there something I can help you with?" Sometimes, helping a loved one with a small task, like giving them a break while we play with children, making a meal, or taking out the garbage, or doing the laundry, provides a level of support that goes much further than we can appreciate. We can all work towards creating an environment in our families that is welcoming and supportive to fellow family members who need help coping with stress in a healthy manner. As a Jamaat, we are all here to help. For many, many years, with guidance from Maulana Hazri Imam, the Council here in the United States has employed full-time professionals in our social safety net, also referred to as SSN, to support the needs of the Jamaat. Over these years, the Jamaat has also benefited from the time and knowledge of individuals, including case managers, social workers, psychologists, physicians, and other professionals who have volunteered thousands of hours providing crisis support to individuals and families in need. training volunteers such as our teachers and counselors working with our youth, and education to the Jamaat at large. Since shelter-in-place orders were instituted nationwide nearly 2 months ago, it has been heartwarming to observe so many experienced professionals within the Jamaat come forward to offer support for the Jamaat's mental well-being in a time of need. Throughout the year, and especially this month, the Social Welfare Board is working with mental health experts to plan several webinars and initiatives where physical tools to improve mental health and increase our resilience. In other words, our ability to manage our mental health will be shared. I would highly encourage the Jamaat to leverage these resources. You can find a schedule of these programs by going to the.ismaili/USA and clicking on the events link under the COVID-19 section. On a different note, last week I shared with you the need to continue to maintain our guard against COVID-19. You may recall that Maulana Hazrat Imam said in his recent message, quote, "The COVID-19 virus is highly contagious, and every day we are witnessing the damage it is inflicting on human lives and societies. In facing this threat, it is very important that all members of my Jamaat should take personal responsibility for exercising all possible steps to protect their own good health and safety and well-being, and that of their family." Unquote. As many states begin to reopen and we approach Eid in the near future, I would like to reiterate the importance of staying vigilant and to encourage the Jamaat to keep in mind Maulana Hazrat Imam's guidance when making decisions on who and how we engage during this crisis. It may be helpful for us all to remember 3 P's as we look to our daily lives: personal responsibility, physical distancing, and personal hygiene. It has been refreshing to hear about virtual gatherings or car parades that Jamaati members around the country are undertaking to celebrate graduations and birthdays. These are good, creative ways to fulfill our desires to connect and celebrate with our loved ones while maintaining best practices of physical distancing. As we approach Eid al-Fitr, I encourage you to find other such creative ways to connect with our loved ones while maintaining physical distancing and not having physical gatherings of people outside the immediate household wherever possible. This week, we had to make the difficult decision to extend closure of Jamaat Khanas through at least the middle of June. I, like all of you, miss being in Jamaat Khana. Please rest assured that my colleagues on the U.S. Jamaati Task Force for COVID-19 and I, along with our leadership globally, continue to closely monitor updates from public health professionals in particular. We will remain vigilant and continue to inform the Jamaat of updates in regard to Jamaat Khana openings as and when we can do so safely. The safety and security of the Jamaat is critical in any decisions that we make. Finally, as most of you are aware, a few weeks ago, Ismaili TV was launched online at the.ismaili/TV. This is a platform created to connect, entertain, inform, and educate Jamaats from around the world. It's easy to use as watching a video online, and it is accessible from your smartphone or other devices. There, you will find quality programming from around the world, including from the United States, for Jamaati members of all ages. I am particularly proud that some of the first content coming from the United States features our youth and our professionals sharing their knowledge for the benefit of the Jamaat. I encourage you to take a moment and look at the listing of upcoming programs. You are likely to find ones that you will find interesting and useful. In the end, I humbly ask that you continue to remain positive and optimistic. The Imam is with us. We have a history of being a strong and resilient community guided by the Imam. So with the blessing of our Imam, the strength of our volunteers, and our own entrepreneurial spirit, we will, inshallah, navigate these challenging times and be ready to take advantage of the opportunities that lie ahead of us. I wish you all good health, safety, and prosperity. Ya Ali Madad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's begin today with this beautiful prayer that Imam Ali alayhi salam used to recite, in which he supplicated deeply for Allah's mercy. One of Imam's students, Kumail ibn Ziyad, used to listen to the Imam recite this prayer and requested him one day to teach him this prayer. So Imam Ali dictated the prayer to him, in which he took his time to write it down as well as memorize it. And since that time, this prayer is known to be called Dua Kumail. Let's listen to a verse of this prayer and note how Imam Ali is seeking the ability to find gratitude towards Allah. I quote, "Bestow on me the ability to have gratitude towards you and to inspire me with your remembrance. O Allah, I ask you as a person who is submissive, humble, and obedient, to treat me kindly, to have mercy on me, and to make me satisfied with what you have allotted, and humble in all circumstances." Unquote. So there are two things to note. Along with the ability to have gratitude towards Allah, Imam Ali is seeking for satisfaction in all circumstances. My brothers and sisters, we are all going through some very challenging circumstances right now. And we are feeling the suffering of many of our fellow human beings. It's tough. And it's not always easy to express gratitude when we are going through a tough and hard time. But gratitude is an ability that can be developed. And in this talk, we will explore how this attitude of gratitude benefits our mind, body, and soul. And what are the various ways we can approach the concept of gratitude in our lives? So first and foremost, it gives us solace to always remember that Allah says in Quran in Surah 7, "My mercy encompasses all things." The ability to have gratitude is the ability to have unconditional trust on that mercy, which is like a womb of your mother. It surrounds us and provides us sustenance in any and all circumstances. Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah alayhi salam offered another example to help us incorporate this concept of gratitude in all of our life's events. I quote, "I say that to you, that you should endeavor to suit your desire to the event and not the event to your desire. If a wall tumbles down and crushes my foot, I must say, that is the best thing that could happen to me." Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah indicates to us that life events include both happiness and sorrows. And we should accept them with a mindset of gratitude and strive to do our best in all such circumstances. So how can we strive to do our best in these times of uncertainty when the feelings of fear can weigh us down? Maulana Haj Imam has talked about these two opposite emotions of fear and hope in many of his speeches. He has said that the right to have hope is the single most powerful human emotions and motivation that can be a trampoline for success. He has said that if fear is infectious, so is hope. So the idea is when we have to replace fear, we have to spread the emotions of hope. And one of the ways to generate hope is to carry the essence of gratitude in our hearts. And the essence of gratitude is threefold. It's the grace that we receive, it's the graciousness that we give, and the gratefulness that we feel in our hearts. In many traditions, gratitude is called the mother of all human emotions. And interestingly, in the current times, there is a lot of brain research that's going on that is providing evidence of the positive impact of having gratitude on our brain functions. Recently, the Harvard Medical School published a study in which it showed that a group that wrote down things that they were grateful for felt hopeful and better about their lives even months after the study. And the same group exercised more. They had fewer visits to the doctor than the group who wrote only about negative things. Another research talked about participants who wrote thank you notes or thank you letters to the people in their lives. And months later, in their brain scans, they still had the activities related to gratitude, and their circuits were really active, even months later. Another research talks about that when we receive gratitude or give gratitude, our brain, releases hormones, good hormones in our bodies, which makes us feel good from inside and provides us with the ability to look at positive things in life. All these studies suggest that having gratitude is like having a gratitude muscle in our brains. The more we practice gratitude, the more stronger it gets and provides us to have abilities that perhaps we may not know that we had before. So how can we cultivate this attitude of gratitude? Let's look at some simple ways to do that. The simple gesture of having a smile, a sincere smile to someone, saying some kind words to someone, is actually proven to impact positively our brain circuits. We can write down gratitude journal and talk about the things that we are grateful for. We can also visualize or write down our hopes and aspirations for the future, and perhaps pick one small step and really work on it. We can also write gratitude letters or calls to our family members or our friends, because the simple act of giving gratitude brings immense hope and happiness to both the parties. Or perhaps we can have a gratitude buddy, maybe our spouse, maybe one of our kids, maybe one of our friends or family members, where we keep some time aside to share something positive with them. And of course, prayers and service, two central practices in our faith. They are the infinite source of grace, gratitude, and immense hope in our lives. So yes, there is despair, but there are also uplifting examples of people showing grace to each other. For example, the selfless service of our first responders and how they're providing their services without thinking of their own lives, and how many different ways people are showing their gratitude to them. The youth from our Jamaat wrote hundreds of thank you messages to our first responders. We have volunteers who are making masks or donating supplies and helping community in need, and many, many more such examples that shows us what gratitude and hope in action look like. Our beloved Hazrat Imam's prayers are always with us. And during these tough times, our Imam has sent us special messages with prayers for Mushkil Asan. And in these messages, Imam has said that we have the need to build the future from the position of strength and wisdom. So let us all express our gratitude for Allah's mercy, for Imam's grace and guidance, for all our volunteers, for each other. And together, let's face these challenges with hope and gratitude and prepare our hearts and minds to build for the future.
As president of the Architectural League, I am delighted to welcome you to this occasion, when we present our most important award, the President's Medal. And we are deeply grateful that His Highness the Aga Khan has agreed to accept the award. Tonight, we celebrate him and we celebrate his vision that led to the creation of the Aga Khan Award for Architecture 40 years ago. As architects, we usually dwell in the world of space defined by walls. But tonight, on this occasion, and in the midst of this very divisive time, we turn away from the concept of the wall and instead choose to celebrate the concept of the bridge. The poet Octavio Paz wrote, "Between now and now, between I am and you are, the word bridge." The Aga Khan Award has been a bridge connecting the world to the beauty and power of work done to serve Muslim populations. This work happens all over the world. Dhaka, Lagos, Copenhagen, Tehran, London, Beijing. We are all beneficiaries. This award helps to establish the quality of architecture, planning, and landscape design by shedding light on exemplary work. And most importantly, it affirms the power of architecture to create and to sustain a humane and beautiful world for all people. All people, all cultures, all faiths look to beauty as a profound source of both solace and joy.
We're extraordinarily honored to be able to present the League's President's Medal to His Highness the Aga Khan and to welcome him here along with his family, Princess Zara, Prince Hussein, and Prince Ali Mohammed. We're very pleased to welcome many members of the United Nations Diplomatic Corps here tonight, and I extend a special welcome to Dr. Fazal Barkat, President of the Ismaili Council of the United States, and his colleagues. The work of His Highness and the Aga Khan Award for Architecture played a very important and increasingly influential role in broadening and deepening international conversation about architecture and cities and rural environments by opening it to include participants and the discussion of places, practices, design traditions, and technologies that had not earlier been a part of global discourse. The deeply considered triennial award cycle and the wide-ranging educational and research programs that it has created are one of the most important and productive architectural initiatives in the world today. In a speech presenting the awards in one of its earliest cycles, His Highness said, "Architecture is the only art form which has a direct daily impact on the quality of human life. The desire to work continuously to improve quality of life through architecture has been a driving concern of the Aga Khan Award for Architecture since it was created, and of the work of the entire Aga Khan Development Network."
I am deeply honored to be here today. And I am from Burkina Faso. I was born in a village called Gando, which was even not known in the country itself. It was not in the map. And I grew up seeing and experiencing that a relative was traveling, going far to work abroad and to feed the family. And I got a chance to attend education. And this is the reason why I am here today. And the reason why I am able to be here, I have to say, is because of His Highness, the Aga Khan. I had the great chance to experience an Aga Khan Award in 2004 in Delhi, in India. I was a laureate, and I had the only chance to travel to India with my father and to receive the Aga Khan Award for architecture in Delhi from His Highness. There is no doubt. This was the proudest moment in my life. But the most important thing was the emotionally most important moment in my life in the relationship with my father. You know? Because my father was the one who sent me to school. And he did it because he wanted me to come back home and be able to read and write letters for him. And doing so, I got a chance to get a scholarship to go to Germany and study architecture. And it started. Suddenly, through the Aga Khan Award, I have become known. And my village has got a name. And that is the reason why I'm here tonight. Simply says that this award shows us that if our communities has a chance and got the mean, they could just show what they can do for their own people. And that architecture is more than just a profession. Architecture can empower, can push people to create something that will show them a better future. And that is what about the Aga Khan Award. The accomplishment of His Highness, the Aga Khan, and the Aga Khan Award, and His Highness itself, and the committees and the juries is something profound. I think you will agree to me that we have to congratulate His Highness for this great award. And I must thank you for what you have made possible in my life and in the life of my village and in my architecture. So thank you very much.
The Aga Khan Award for Architecture may be only one of His Highness's signature achievements, but its significance is profound. Not only for its potential to expand the notion of what architecture can achieve and for whom, but for the possibility it promises for a change in the process. A process that is more inclusive, more respectful, and more thoughtful. A process that recognizes the cultural role of architecture and its capacity to change the lives of communities and individuals for the better. As you read about these extraordinary projects tonight in the book that you will receive later this evening, you will see that each one of them has created a pride of place and strengthened community bonds. You will also see that each project delivers considerably more than its individual program requires. For instance, a new bridge in Tehran becomes a complex, enjoyable, sociable, public open space, and not just a bridge. A community center in Bangladesh, settled low in the middle of a floodplain, is cooled by roofs of grass, blending seamlessly into the landscape and delivering services in a series of light-filled spaces. It is my interpretation of the Aga Khan Award that one of its fundamental purposes is to educate a wider audience, to promulgate values that demonstrate the power of architecture, to elevate the quality of life, and to support pluralism. I would like to persuade these mayors to look in a fresh way at cultural heritage, at existing cultural heritage, and adapt those plans to incorporate cultural and traditional references, and thus create a new kind of contemporary planning and architecture. Wouldn't this new approach foster a better sense of cohesion and stability? Wouldn't this be a better way for governments to ensure the long-term sustainability of the investments that they make in their cities? His Highness has said, I believe that the process we have created and launched has become a self-sustaining and unstoppable force for change in the human habitat, not only in the Muslim world, but in much of the developing world as well. So, let us all play our role in ensuring that that force is indeed unstoppable. And let us also express our deep gratitude to the Aga Khan for his wisdom, his aspiration, and for his lasting impact. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Billy. I want to thank the Architectural League, Your Highness, your family, and my many friends and colleagues here, all of whom I met around that table in Geneva when we discussed the Aga Khan Award. And I have to say that the standards of research, discussion, reportage, and judgment around that table at the Aga Khan Award discussions and debates easily challenge Harvard's tenure process. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here today, and I'm actually relieved that I'm the third speaker after you've heard the serious architects, people who talk about policy and urban issues, treat me like the dessert souffle. A little bit of hot air, pleasant in its own way, keep the standards up and bring them down. I will be brief. It is an honor to speak this evening at an occasion on which a munificent patron of architectural awards is himself the recipient of the President's Medal of the Architectural League. Your Highness, let me assure you, a person of exquisite equestrian judgment, that this award has an impeccable pedigree, almost as distinguished as some of your legendary Derby winners, Shegar, Sindar, and more recently, Harzand. The Architectural League has its own triple crown lineup. Richard Mayer, Kenneth Frampton, Billy Chen, Todd Williams, Richard Serra, Professor Stern are amongst distinguished recipients of the medal. What gives this occasion a remarkable resonance is the profound symmetry of vision and sympathy shared by the Architectural League and the Aga Khan Award for Architecture. Openness, pluralism, opportunity, and justice as they are brought to bear on all matters concerned with human settlement, never more important than now, human settlement and resettlement are the core values of both institutions. The aim of architecture is to achieve the ultimate design for the quality of life and the civility of society. Architecture is as much about the brick and mortar of professional expertise as it is about the less tangible ethical values of belonging and neighborliness. My involvement with the Aga Khan Award for Architecture, as a member of both the master jury and the steering committee, persuades me that architecture is the midwife to the good life. Guided by His Highness's inspiring and incisive baton, we are challenged to puzzle the unborn, as Auden put it, to contemplate a world that still has to be built. Our conversations reflect on design solutions, argue about urban arrangements and ecological priorities, debate infrastructural interventions, and pay close attention to the importance of conservation and restoration. To make progress in the present requires us to protect the past and restore it to continued life. In each instance, we place ethical choices and judgments of value in the front and center of our deliberations. Each cycle of the award insists that we return with new resolve and fresh ideas to a world that has not worn as well as it should be. This is a world we only know too well, world of inequality and conflict and unemployment, homelessness, violence, lack of educational opportunities, and indeed ecological degradation. And yet precisely because of this wear and tear, a world still has to be built in which our spiritual and aesthetic desires for progress join with our concerns for fairness and justice. At the award ceremony in Kuala Lumpur in 2007, His Highness spoke of the importance of a culture of questioning across the Ummah and around the world. A question of questioning norms that have become mere habits of thought, and the urgency to question enforced and imposed limits, fences, barriers, walls, as you said, Billy, that obstruct humane solidarity in situations of crisis and duress. Pluralistic inquiry is the living link between the good society and public space, and architecture, I believe, is the arc of this ancient and intimate connection. And the Aga Khan Award does its best to propagate and protect not only architecture, but the architecture of freedom and fairness. The award aspires to sustain the quality of life of the built environment in a profound and productive relationship with the ecology of the natural life of the planet. In a world of the tireless movement of people seeking both refuge and opportunity, architecture speaks directly and urgently to the homing spirit. The fundamental right to find a peaceful and a productive home in the world. Not simply the indulgence, not simply the chance, but the fundamental right to be at home in the world. I congratulate the Aga Khan for the Architectural Award and his various advisors and helpers who have made this possible. Thank you very much.
I will ask the Aga Khan to come to the stage for the presentation of the medal. The Architectural League presents its President's Medal to His Highness the Aga Khan with profound gratitude and humility. We are grateful for the extraordinary work of the Aga Khan Award for Architecture and the recognition, scholarship, and investment it has catalyzed and supported, which has raised the quality of urban and rural environments around the world. We are humbled by his belief in the power of architecture to elevate human experience. His Highness has demonstrated the capacity for architecture to be encompassing and inclusive. Through his probing search to conceive anew the nature of cultural identity and continuity, his openness to innovation and experimentation, and the unwavering commitment to pluralism as a foundational principle of human community. By acknowledging not only the complexity and imperfection of the world we have created, but also its potential, His Highness, the Aga Khan, has set a magnificent example of stewardship and hope. So the Aga Khan will say a few words. I had promised that he wouldn't have to say anything, so now he's being very extra special nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't accept this wonderful recognition without expressing to you all the deepness of my gratitude and my thanks. In thinking about the way societies live in the developing world, in the industrialized world, I came to a very simple conclusion. What is the art form that has the most important impact on every society in every part of the world? And the answer is quite simply architecture. And it seemed to me an important conclusion that colleagues of mine, friends, others should work with me to commit to that art which must and can improve the quality of life of people around the world. There are many, many challenges, and we know all about that. But challenge is part of human life, and I don't think you or I will bend our knees in front of a challenge. I don't like bending knees. I dissuade people who have knee problems to work for me, and I still try to ski at my old age. So I want to thank you for this wonderful evening, to tell you that it's a very important evening in my life because it's a recognition of an art form which I believe needs global recognition, needs global attention, needs the best brains that we can mobilize to improve the human habitat for the decades and decades ahead. Thank you for this wonderful evening. Thank you.